This is Talking Bullish, your Bradford Bulls fan podcast. And we're your hosts, Laura Micklefield and Alan Raisin.
Well, it was a fun evening watching the Bulls against Saints the other night, but wasn't to be for the Bulls. But we're going to have a look back at that, and then we're going to have a look forward to Magic Weekend and play a game of Bull or No Bull.
Yes, we are. And I'm really glad to see you here today, Laura, because I did have some visions of me having to carry the podcast on my own this week.
Yeah, I've been a bit ill this week, shall we say. So it's a bit delayed, but I've made it in the end. So yeah, you'd have had to do a lot of talking to yourself, Alan. So.
I know, and nobody wants to listen to that. So thank goodness you're feeling better now.
You never know. It could have been the highest viewed one yet.
Let's not test that theory.
So we're here and feeling a bit better and ready to talk some bullish. So yes, Saints. I
think we started well.
Yeah, good first half, not so good second half, but yeah. lots of decisions not really going our way, I'd have thought, but.
Yeah, it was Saturday night right before the football. It was a nice evening, and you brought a friend along, didn't you? So it was all a good atmosphere beforehand.
Yeah, it were nice, and it were good to introduce my friend to the lovely game that is rugby league. She's very kind of sporty and into a lot of sports, and she'll watch stuff that's on the telly, but has not really been or watched much of rugby or rugby league and didn't know anything about it. So I'd been saying for quite a while, come along, and she did this week. So yeah, it was good, and she seemed to really enjoy herself and wants to come again. So might have recruited another Bull fan
another
there.
One, yeah. Well, like I say, she'll be on the podcast soon, no doubt, as well.
I know, yeah. should be getting commission from the Bulls here with the fans I'm recruiting. But yeah, anyway, it wasn't nice. Well, let's say it wasn't so nice towards the end of the match. But the first half.
Focus on the positives. Let's talk about the first half.
The first half was pretty good. Right, so it was an eventful start, 1 minute in, and there was already a captain's challenge, which I'm growing to hate these. Captain's challenge by Saints. They're challenging a ruling of a knock-on. It was inconclusive. So, yet another stupid challenge.
Waste of time,
yeah. So we just had to sit around for 2 minutes, and even though we're only 1 minute into the match, the decision stood, but they did retain their right to challenge. But it was given a Saints knock-on, so we're thinking, we're pretty good field position here, might have a chance. And we did get close, but a bit of a poor kick on the last resulted in Saints getting the ball back. And then 4 minutes, another captain's challenge.
Yay.
So, first 5 minutes, really quite,
slow.
Yeah, and I was trying to explain to my friend that it isn't usually like this. It didn't used to be like this, but it seems to be a lot like this now. But I think she's a big fan of football and said that I think video kind of not interference, but you know what I mean, video... I don't know.
VAR interference.
Yeah, well, is a massive thing there as well. Yeah. So I think it's slowing games across the spectrum of sports quite
certainly
massively.
Certainly is, yes.
This time they were unsuccessful in their challenge. So Saints lost the challenge pretty early on, but 2 within 5 minutes, a bit crazy.
And then Saints opened the scoring as well with a penalty kick at 7 minutes. So Hastings got that one through. So it was 2-0 to Saints.
Yeah, so a bit of a kind of, just slow first 10 minutes because of the captain's challenges and whatever. But obviously Saints got the lead. We did get a penalty for Atkin being taken late off the ball at 11 minutes, and the player who did it was actually Sim Binns. So we were up on numbers at that point. And 12 minutes, we thought we'll get the kicking tee out as well and make it 2-2.
Then at 20 minutes, Steinwade makes a break down the left.
Yes, Steinwade is causing problems. They were playing really well in this first 20 minutes. The scrambling defence gets there, but a player is taken off the ball, so we call for the kicking tee again, making it 4-2, so we're ahead.
Yeah, and Hooley kicks that one.
Win is then caught high from the restart, getting us up the field at 22 minutes.
And then Steinwade gets in over the line for a try.
Yeah, I think it was well deserved, that one as well, because he had been playing brilliantly. I thought he was one of the standout players of the first half, and well deserved try for him there. And Hooley converts, so we get it to 10-2. So we're looking pretty positive at this point.
Yeah, I was certainly thinking at this point that we were playing a lot better than I was expecting. So that was great. Unfortunately, it didn't stay for long. Saints scored wide with Douglas and bring it up to 10-6.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that because they only got the field position due to the call of an incorrect play of the ball. And when you actually looked at it back, it was a little bit harsh, to be fair. There were players all over him. It could have gone either way, and it just swung momentum in their favour. They got the ball near our line and, got straight over. So, 10-6 it was at that point. So then another 5 minutes or so later, it was just a crash ball from a strong prop from Saints, and they were over. Pretty weak goal line defence on this one, making it 12-10 to Saints. And that took us to half time with that score. So what were you thinking in the first half then, Alan?
Yeah, pretty pleased actually, 2 points in it and a little bit unlucky to be behind, really. I think if we just had a bit stronger defence, then it could have been a different story.
Yeah, I thought we played pretty well. It were just small things, little errors. Like I say, that play of the ball thing got them in possession and then got them over the line. And then it just seems to snowball from there. I was kind of talking to my friend about the rules as they were going. And I said, it's one of those things in rugby where when momentum changes, it's really hard to get it back. And they got a couple of decisions towards the end of that half that really kind of pushed them just ahead. But it was really competitive first half. So it was fun to watch.
Yes, indeed. However, that couldn't last forever, and the second half kicked off, and Saints soon scored. 44 minutes with Wellesby. Was that right when he was right at the back of? I think he was. There's a ball bouncing through the in goal, and he just got it in before it went out. So a try for them.
Yeah, it was similar to his grand final winning try from a few years ago with that one, but obviously not as dramatic, just in a regular round match. But yeah, it looked like he were over the line, but the replay showed that he was well within. So, the try stood, and it was 18-10 at that point. And just to note over the half time break as well, that Phoenix didn't come back on and Elliot Poposhi came on. So I don't know if that's a injury. I'm not too sure. Yeah,
well, listening to the post-match reaction, he said he can hardly walk. So,
that doesn't sound good.
No.
What a shame as well, because I say, we're playing so well. I thought he had a really good first half, and obviously he's been out with a massively long injury before as well. So that's a real shame. But like I say, 18-10 at that point, and they're just criminal. Long restart goes out on the full, so they get themselves a penalty in halfway to Saints. We did manage to defend that one, which were good. This was really weird then, because there was an error and then there was a scrum to us, but they actually challenged the scrum. Did Saints kicked through, the ball went flying out the back of the scrum and went dead. So then we ended up with a 7 tackle set. So that was really bizarre. I've not really seen that before. But anyway, 52 minutes, because we'd not had one for a while. Another captain's challenge. This time it's us asking for it. It's the saying the challenge of a ball steal from our 40-metre line. But it was unsuccessful.
Yeah, and I think it was this point we really felt like all the decisions started not going our way. Yeah,
it just seemed like one thing after another. It just kind of snowballed at this point. So, it was another penalty to Saints, and they slotted it over to make it 20-10 at that point.
And then they score again at 57 minutes. Oh, yeah, it was a lucky bounce that Shorrocks stretches out to gather and scores pretty much between the posts.
Yes, it's up to 26-10 at that point, and like you said, it was kind of momentum had totally switched. So they'd had that penalty before, we defended it, which were really good. They kicked the ball too long, and Akins caught it dead, thought we were going to get a 7 tackle set, thought momentum was going to switch, but then it was pulled back, and Saints were given a penalty, which resulted in that try. So again, it was just like penalty, try, penalty, try. And then Try Hastings scores after a kick is judged to have been palmed backwards by a Bradford man into his path. Again, this looks like it was very much off of him on the replay and went forward. But again, it's checked on the video, so I don't know what they see, but never mind. So we're up to 32-10 at that point.
And then they get another penalty.
So, 65 minutes in, there's a tackle and Wynne is tackled by the player who's held down and they're wrestling on the floor. And, of course, Saints are given the penalty.
Yeah.
Yet again, we saw the replay. We saw it right in front of us as well, wasn't it? And the guy would just, I think we were already getting really frustrated because we were getting no 6 agains and Saints were getting like a million.
That's true. And
so we were trying to, I think we tried to get up quickly and the tackle was Wynne. The guy was all over him. I think frustration took over and there were a bit of a scuffle on the floor. There were nothing thrown, no punches, nothing like that. But even though obviously we're trying to clear up the ruck, the defenders being all over the attacker got penalised. So, they got a penalty. So he got his kicking tee out again and just slotted over another 2. So 34-10 at this point. And I think at this point we were a little bit waiting for it to end.
You can say that again, but it didn't end there. 77 minutes. There's another try for Saints. Welby gets his second and takes it up to 40-10.
Yeah, so 40-10 at this point. The game's well gone and it was, like, say, 77 minutes on the clock. And then a minute later, a really nasty tackle. Anyone who saw it wasn't nice at all. He just totally kind of misjudged where he put his head. And Gardiner, unfortunately, is badly injured at that point. We could see straight away. It just went straight down, didn't it? It wasn't nice to see. I know even the Saints players and all the Bradford players were kind of like straight to him as in someone needs to sort this out. And I think like 3 or 4 doctors came onto the field and we thought at this point, this really doesn't look good. We didn't see him moving at all. It wasn't great. And it was quite a lengthy stoppage at that point. 2 minutes to go. Probably about a minute and a half to go in the match. We thought the match would kind of end there, and I think the coaching staff from both sides were happy for it to end. But I think the referee decided that it was to play on. So we waited a while until Will was helped off. He was taken off on a stretcher, and I think everybody were really worried about him, and you could tell that the teams were as well. So the last couple of minutes, out of respect, they didn't really play the game properly. It
was really weird, wasn't it? Because you could tell
bizarre.
Everyone was really upset, so they were just sort of casually throwing the ball, not really tackling.
Yeah, it was a really bizarre end to a match. I've never seen one like it. But like I say, you do see bad tackles and things happen and stuff, but it wasn't nice, that, and it didn't look good. And obviously there was an update afterwards that he is home now recovering. I don't know the extent of the injury or how long he'll be out, but it looks like at least a very bad concussion, and I think they said something about a bleed on the brain. So just all the best to Will. Like I say, it wasn't nice to watch, and you could tell his teammates were really concerned as well. But just really glad to know that it wasn't as serious as it first looked.
So Kurt said that he was alert and smiling when Kurt got back into the dressing room, so he didn't feel the need to go to hospital with him, but is now recovering with his family, and could have been some kind of underlying issue from childhood or something, but the prognosis is not as bad as it certainly could have been.
Yeah, it put a bit of a dampener on everything. I think, even like the scoreline, even if we wanted to be disappointed about it, I think we were all just like, look, it's a game. It does make you realise it is just a game, and it can obviously be really detrimental for some of these players if something nasty happens. And I'm just really glad that it wasn't as bad as it first looked. So all the best to Will, and I hope he gets well soon.
And it was a defeat as well for the women's team, falling 26-4 to Cass. Losses for both the teams, unfortunately, this week. But it would, like I say, it were a bit... Not that I'm not bothered. Obviously, everyone's bothered by a loss, but it was, the kind of... The more important thing was just that Will Gardiner was okay. And now knowing he's okay, I feel like we can talk about the match a little bit more and have a look into things. But,
it were funny because obviously my friend is a neutral, so to speak. She's not watched it before, and I were kind of explaining rules and things like that. I was trying to not have my blinkers on. Didn't really say much in the second half, just like we were all moaning at everything that were happening. And even she said, how come like it seems like everything is just going against you and everything's going for the other team? I just don't understand it. And I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe it's not my Bradford Bulls blinkers that are just thinking this. Someone actually coming into the game and seeing it. So interestingly, I tried to have a look at the penalty count. So they don't actually do the stats on the 6 agains during the match. So I can't tell you how many 6 agains it was for Saints versus us. I know, Alan, you actually took a note of the first 6 again we got, which was at 50 minutes. And I know that Saints had a fair few 6 agains before that point. So I can imagine that it was pretty well in their favour. But yeah, just looking at the penalties that they do make a record of, there was a total of 15 penalties in the match. And it said that we led the penalty count early on with those 2 where we got the goals. But by the end of it, it was in the second half, it was 8-1 to Saints' favour. So they got 8 penalties and we got 1 in the second half. Yeah, it just, well, like I say, it's just a relentless swing of penalties. It just starved us of the ball and allowed Saints to rack up 28 unanswered points. And I think that's what my friend saw as well. She said the first half seemed really good and seemed competitive, and then she said the second half was just down to the referee. And that's not me saying it; that's a neutral saying it. And it does make a massive difference when one team gets, like, say, 8 penalties to 1, and it wasn't warranted. Like, that wasn't. If I know people saying, "Oh, it's just indiscipline," but it wasn't like there were. Yeah. Some of them were. I'm not saying, oh no, we should have never had a penalty, but for it to be so far in Saints' favour for that, it just wasn't like both teams were. If anything, Saints were laying on tackles a lot longer than us.
Yeah, I thought that actually. Yeah.
But it just wasn't something he was giving. But anyway, so yeah, just interesting little statistic for you there, because I think we were all getting a little bit frustrated. There's one guy that sits behind us in the stand that gets particularly frustrated from the start of the match to the end, and I just thought that was an interesting little fact. So looking forward to this week then. Got 3 fixtures on this week with a wheelchair team are back in action.
Yeah, they're playing Edinburgh Giants away. So if you fancy a trip up to Edinburgh, get there for Saturday, 2:30 p.m.
Yeah, and then as we alluded to in the preview, it's Magic Weekend. So we have another game against the Leeds Rhinos. So the rivalry is reignited at Magic Weekend again. So we're sandwiched between 2 matches in Liverpool that day, and that's a 3 p.m. kickoff.
And finally, we've got a learning disability match. This is also part of Magic Weekend, playing St Helens.
Yeah, so it looks like that's going to be taking place at half time.
Exciting.
I'm wondering if that's going to be put on the telly. I hope so, but maybe not.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, speaking of those matches, let's have a look forward to the next match against the Leeds Rhinos then. What are we thinking, Alan?
Oh, dear me.
They are very much on form at the minute, and I'd say they were the in-form team of the Super League at the moment, flying high at the top of the table and putting lots of points past people. So if there were anyone we could choose not to play 3 times this season, I think we would have chosen Leeds Rhinos. Actually, that's not true, because everybody wants to see a Leeds Bradford match, even if we get hammered. But anyway, but yeah, unfortunate that we've got this draw, because I think this could be a bit pivotal in our season of us slipping down the table a little bit, because obviously every team gets a team to play more than twice, and unfortunately for us it's the top of the league, so some of the results might not go our way this week, meaning we might slip down the table a little bit if we do not win.
Yeah, and as you say, they're really strong. I saw a match preview with Brad Arthur and Kurt together talking up Magic Weekend, and it just sounded like the Rhinos at peak strength. Everyone fit and healthy. full strength team, and contrast that with Kurt, and says that there won't be any players back for another 2 or 3 weeks, I think. So, and with, like I say, Phoenix probably being out, and obviously Gardiner can't be playing again, and we've got another couple of people.
Yeah, I think, did we lose Dan Russell as well? I think you were saying. So, yeah, with Ross. So, all us, like, first choice back rows have just gone. So, Fulton's out injured. Phoenix now injured as well, and Dan Russell out. So, yeah, we're going to be not in crisis mode like we were earlier in the season, but we are, we're on the bare bones again. And considering, like, say, the Rhinos are in full flow and they're at full strength, it's going to be a pretty uneven match. Look, I think we'll go and put up a fight, because I think we always do. I think there's always the effort there. But the referee is also from Leeds, so I don't think that's going to help. So I've already seen the allocations. Predictions.
Yeah, so, just a recap of last week's predictions. I predicted a 22-30 defeat. You predicted 20-22, so I get 1 more point than you, and I've pulled the deficit back to 2 points. So 176 versus my 174.
Well done.
Yes, so I have thought about this prediction this week, and I think it's not going to be good. I'm sorry, listeners, but I am predicting 60 points to 10.
Yeah, it's one of those, if they get on a roll, it is going to be a cricket score, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was. So I'm not probably going to be too dissimilar to yours, Alan. I've been too optimistic in these past few weeks, but I mean, I'm going to say I'm going to be slightly more optimistic than you, but it's still going to be very optimistic. I'm going to hope that we get a couple of tries. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, either some late consolation tries or something early on when we compete in the first half. So I'm reckoning 52-12.
Okay, very good. Well, we'll see how we do with them next week.
I think you might be gaining on me a little bit more with these predictions. I'm being far too optimistic.
Well, it seems that there's not a lot of points to be gained each week.
No.
This algorithm needs a bit of tweaking, perhaps.
But yeah, at least, like I say, if you're heading to Magic Weekend, you've got a couple more matches to watch that day. And obviously, if you're going for the whole weekend, you'll have some on Saturday as well. But to anyone going, and my dad and nephew are both heading over to watch the Bulls match, have a lovely time. We will just be watching from the telly. I think we're going to watch it together, though, aren't we, Alan? And have a little see of what things are like from the television stands rather than there on the in the stands. We might actually be able to hear some of these crazy decisions that are made, which will be nice.
Yeah, and don't forget to drop your score predictions in the comments so we can have a look and see how much better you all are at predicting the scores than we are.
Yeah, please do, and bring us a bit of optimism to our timeline, because it's hard to get the optimism at the moment. But look, I'm still optimistic that we're in Super League and we're not bottom of the league, and we've won some matches, so let's keep positive.
Yeah, well, and I was just last thing on this point, I was wondering when our next win would be. Obviously, I'm not expecting a win this week, but we play Huddersfield next week, so
always a chance.
There is a chance that we might have another win this season.
Yeah, so fingers crossed for that one.
So that brings us on to Bull or No Bull, where this week Laura has spent hours preparing 3 statements for me to trick me into picking the wrong statement as the false statement, if that makes sense.
I totally get what you mean, and I think regular listeners will too. So, yeah, hours of research has gone into this, as you can tell. No, I like I say, I haven't been very well this week, so this is a last-minute job, so it's probably things that you might already even know. But as always, and as this tradition, it is about our opposition, so I've got you 3 facts about the Leeds Rhinos. So let's see what your knowledge is on the Leeds Rhinos then, Alan.
Okay.
So they're a mixture of things. So let's see which you think are true and which one is false. So the first one is Leeds have won 7 Super League Grand Finals. The second is that Ronnie the Rhino famously ran for UK Parliament. And the third is that Leeds Rhinos are 3-time winners of the World Club Challenge.
Oh, they're all quite interesting. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure if you go for Leeds Rhinos, actually, given that we play them 3 times. So I was thinking it might be a magic-themed.
We're going sticking with tradition. I thought I can find plenty of facts about Leeds Rhinos, I'm sure.
Well, I think it's quite plausible that they have won 7 Super League Grand Finals, though it is probably quite plausible that they've won one more or one less. Ronnie the Rhino running for UK Parliament, so I'm not familiar with that one, so that one's kind of sticking out. And then the World Club Challenge, you say 4 times?
3 times. Winners.
Yeah, again, could be one either way of that. But although I think that Ronnie never ran as a candidate in the parliamentary elections, I think that I'm going to go for the 7 Super League Grand Final wins.
What, as the full statement?
As the full statement.
Correct.
Yay.
Yeah, see. You are right. I just changed it by 1. So they have actually won 8. So they've won in 2004, 2007, 8, 9, 11, 12, 15 and 17. And Ronnie the Rhino did run for UK Parliament. This was in 1997 and he ran for Leeds Northwest and got 232 votes, coming 7th of the 7 candidates that run for Leeds North. But I can't believe 232 people actually voted for him, but good on Ronnie. And yes, the Leeds Rhinos are 3-time winners of the World Club Challenge. They've beaten Canterbury Bulldogs in 2005, 39-32, Melbourne Storm in 2008, 11-4, and Manly Seagulls in 2012, 26-12. Well done, Alan.
Well, that was totally luck, I have to say. But there
must have been something telling you that you knew Ronnie had run for Parliament.
Yeah, well, I think it just stood out as something so ridiculous. It must be true.
Oh, I think that's why I went for like your random. Were it something about Red Robins or something earlier? That's why I went for that one. But I were wrong and it was false. I should just believed the BS, should we say?
And that brings us to the end of another episode of Talking Bullish. Make sure you check out our website, talkingbullish.fm, where you can find links to subscribe on your favourite podcast platform.
Yeah, and like I say every week, thank you to everyone who keeps listening, and we hope you're enjoying our episodes, and we will see you again next week.
Where hopefully will be a 60-10 win for the Bulls, not the Rhinos.
Let's hope for a bit of magic this magic weekend.
Yeah.